Alright folks, we're back. Thanks for watching that break. Looks like herO did in fact beat Hush and moves on to the finals, so he's going to play against INnoVation here shortly. But I do need to, of course, redefine some terminology for you guys, those unfamiliar with double elimination brackets. This is the finals of the winner's bracket, but it is not the finals of the tournament. In the grand scope of things, this is the semifinals, as there's still the loser's bracket to play through. But the winner of this will go on to that grand finals match, which is, again, $1,400 for first place prize. It's going to be pretty sick. But we also have some people starting to possibly get eliminated.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised Jim vs. Keen isn't already done, but Dark vs. Sass is a 1-1.
I would love to see Dark bring it back and have like a rematch in that finals. Get some revenge on that 2-0.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of these matches will, of course, be double dipping as far as casters go, but I know Wardy is also casting today, and I can't recommend him enough. So if you guys do want to see some of these other matches that we're not casting, he's the channel to go to. You can find his, and as well as Crank's, streams on the Team Liquid sidebar. Definitely recommend checking them out. But the winners finals match is coming up next. INnoVation versus herO. Best of 3 TvP. And of course, got a link BaseTradeTV. Do us a favor, and if you are on Twitter, guys, give us a bit of a retweet. It would be certainly appreciated.
Oh, dear.
So, not asking you to make the calls, but guess, who do you think takes this series?
INnoVation.
I would like to see INnoVation go through as well. I think he's a very awesome player. And what I love is it's so clean watching him play. Not to say he's not without mistakes. Like, that series versus Dark, there's so many things to criticize about the way INnoVation played that game too. But that being said, he still makes it look so good. So even when INnoVation's not playing well, he's still playing very good.
Yeah, he's still very solid. So we saw herO a little bit yesterday, including versus Zest, where he just looked so much better in PvP. God forbid he goes down to face Zest eventually, because I think Zest is going to get rolled. But in terms of his PvT, is another one where we don't really know where he's at. INnoVation is clearly good and has already warmed up in the matchup, but I don't know all about herO.
But see, so this is what's so great for me too. I love that we are in this category where we can say these things. Like when we're watching a GSL cast or you're watching like Pro League, you're sitting there with your friends on Skype and you're like, well, I don't really know how herO's doing right now. But now we're casting him in person. We get to see him play in these cups, and he's not limited by the Kespa teams or otherwise. And we get to say, while watching him play firsthand, yeah, we don't know how he's looking right now. We get to find out. I will say, though, that, again, with Classic and INnoVation in mind from the Make Korea Great Again tournament, I think there is a fair reason to be putting our bets on INnoVation, per se. That being said, we do have our second Make Korea Great Again event coming up tomorrow. It's going to be at the 3 a.m. start time, so same time that this started. And a $300, well, it's a $100 prize pool that can go up to $300 for free, quote unquote, if you guys help us out with Match Reno. But the signups for it, while it's not as necessarily stacked as the first one, are looking pretty good. Just to give you guys some names, we got Joxy showing up again, Byun ideally, Impact, Live, Hyun, Gumiho, Pets, and of course I'm going to be poking everybody I can after this. But one of the names on there I was really happy to see was Coffee signed up. We haven't actually seen Coffee play in a little while. Coffee is not the best player you're ever going to see, but he probably will be next year one of the Terrans everyone's speaking of at the rate he's been improving.
That's a bold claim.
I don't know. We've seen people like Euthermal come the distance. I think Coffee, maybe it's a little bit tougher because it's Korea and the support isn't going to be there the same way it was, but he's really on the up and up the last time we were watching him play a lot of those TVTs.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird situation where, on one hand, there's a lot of other Korean Terrans to emulate, but on the other hand, there's a lot of other Korean Terrans you have to beat out to even be noticed. So, I don't know.
Well, real quick, guys, I see, once again, as always, people are upset about the green screen not being used as an actual green screen. I am currently in the process of moving reluctantly. So I have a lot of stuff that's in boxes and messy and just out in the open. So think of this less of a green screen and more of a just junk blocker, if you will.
Junk blocker.
I mean, that's what pants and underwear are if you think about it too. But anyways, we are getting into a brand new best of 3. I do want to point out that this guy spawning in the bottom left used to be on CJ Entis. Hence the big capital at the end of his name. It's herO.
In the bottom right is the red Terran. He is INnoVation.
Okay, so we just watched INnoVation manhandle Zest. Does that mean he can do the same thing to herO? Not necessarily. But it would be on herO to try something different and not do DTs or regular attacks. Like, hell, even just going back, you know, big adept all-ins and scary things that Terran players just fear and have nightmares about probably still work in the new iteration of the patch.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting the fallback to be for the versus Zerg games. That's right.
Yeah.
I was talking about that yesterday and probably the day before, just being like, oh, the process really don't know what to do. Then I would feel like there's still the solid plan to just make a lot of adepts and hope that it works. So I was kind of surprised I didn't see any of that. It was actually more reliance on DTs, which is like not because they've changed. Like, no one for the blink DTs, just as something that Zest just wanted to do, and then herO even did too. I don't know.
I heard a rumor that TvP got to cast a game where someone actually used blink DTs, and I was quite jealous even. But man, the closest we've come to seeing them was, of course, that one game of Showtime. He researched it. He had it. He had it for like 10 minutes. Never used the blink ability once.
Never gonna happen. I don't know. There's actually so Fear Dragon, of course, has been like so happy. He loves DTs, and I feel like he loves them because I hate them. But he was like explaining actually on Twitter that they're sometimes better than Archons. And that gif he showed was actually pretty convincing. But then again, that's also if you had 10 extra DTs in your army, which not a lot of people are willing to.
Oh, are you talking about the one where they blinked behind the Terran army?
Hydras, I thought.
Or the Hydra, excuse me. The blinked behind the army was my point, though.
Yeah, they blinked behind the army. You just couldn't kill them fast enough, or like focus fire them, or they actually did slaughter everything.
What's cool is I love the idea and the concept of that. However, I think most of the time, there's not focus on how are you going to play the Hydras in the mid game if you can kill them in the early game with those Archons or those DTs, right? Like you know, it's sad to see Zest die, but he's been doing excellently with that micro. It's kind of like when we start talking about things like battle cruisers. It's food for thought because they're certainly good in situations, but you rarely get to that point in the game where you have, as you just said, like 10 extra DTs just chilling, just handy, just ready to go.
Yeah.
But enough talk about that for the moment. The Widowmine's going to get a nice shot on the Mothership core. It's actually going to kill it. Oh, no. Wait, 5 health Marines. Boom. No overcharge.
Okay, well.
herO cancels the pylon. What a mistake.
Yeah, that was too much of a mistake. I mean, to chase the Marines into a factory is already like a little bit dangerous. Well, but I guess you're kind of hoping the Widowmine just wasn't on the way or already had popped out and that was the second Widowmine. I don't know. But that was a big mistake. And herO, I give like Zest a little bit of, you know,
peace of mind.
Well, no, that's INnoVation gives peace of mind. I was talking about like, Zest and his cheesiness.
Sorry.
Like Zest was doing a lot of cheesy moves, but herO wasn't like some upstanding Protoss gentleman who was like, no, I'm not at all like Zest. Like he was doing his own cheese versus Zerg and Protoss, and I guess he's still gonna commit to it. That wasn't like exactly cheese. It wasn't with the proxy Stargate, but he definitely wanted that early aggression to do something.
So I know we should probably be a little bit more on like how hype it was for INnoVation to have done a good job to kill, and that's like, you know, being positive. But for me, there was just no reason for herO to be floating that into the base like that, especially when you had the overcharge like seconds away from going off. So I'm curious what his thoughts were for that. Misclick, maybe on purpose. Regardless, turned out badly for him. Now these Widowmines going off, and there's no overcharge back at home to stop them. Obviously, the Observer's coming out in a moment, so the Widowmines, shouldn't get too much more for this.
A little bit scary. So they pulled that one away. Alright, so the Widowmines are gonna get cleaned up at INnoVation just by killing that one Mothership core has already done like damage, and you're not expecting to do damage with a Widowmine drop anymore, unless it's 2 Widowmine drops. So just getting them back out alive is bare minimum. Ooh, we got $5.
Oh, we did. Through bits. Time Shifter says the bot tells me about the Partoof, and while I no longer have the sub, I do in fact still have a physical Partoof. So here's 500 bits to make up for it. Thank you very much, man.
Oh.
Yo, physical Partoofs are legit. They're in short supply right now because Zombie Grub's not home to send them out to you guys.
Not yet. One day.
Alright, so with the bunker down, I don't think this follow-up attack out of here is actually big enough to be scary, but it's Blink on the Stalkers, and maybe some Magic Micro gets something done. But INnoVation, while maybe not quite having Stim, he's got Marauders. He's got that medevac. I'm really not worried for him here.
No, I'm not worried at all either. But hero's got to do something to pressure, even if it is kind of like fake pressure. INnoVation's a little bit taking the bait, having to pull SCVs to like save a bunker that's not even necessary.
Yeah, I'm surprised he actually just lost that bunker even. There's I guess this is a less brutal mistake than losing Mothership Corp, but still. We do have the drop in the main kicking off. This is before Resonating Glaives is done though, so these adepts are not that scary.
Oh, I've done this before. I'm surprised INnoVation does the same thing. Okay, I've scanned my base before, but I've also dropped the mule where I was looking, like slightly away from a mineral line. It's nice to see that he's human.
I hate when you accidentally click the mule off the mineral line very barely, like 1 pixel you didn't notice, and then you're just like, oh, the thing hasn't been mining for like half its life.
We've talked about this before, and luckily I don't remember ever making that mistake. I usually notice when I do that.
Okay, well, shout outs to the other Terrans who are terrible at StarCraft alongside me.
But I just said that I scan my own base, like probably 1 games every 20, so... like, not on purpose.
To
like
each their own terrible way to play StarCraft is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, well, the War Prism coming back home does still have some adepts in it. Resonating Glaives finishes up in a second. It'll make him a little bit better for fighting. INnoVation's not pushing with too scary of a force, but he does have a +1 weapons upgrade going into this. And the Marines almost catch that War Prism. That would have been really nice to pick off. Widow Mines, maybe threatening, maybe not. We'll see what they hit. Of course, sometimes luck is involved. But that Guardian Shield is going to help reduce a lot of this damage.
Snipes that Widow Mine is what he's looking for. Unfortunately, the Guardian Shield, I mean, there's not any force fields, so definitely not now that Sentry was sniped. So it does mean that once this Guardian Shield goes down, maybe more snipes occur on some of the important, like, it's a fairly large Marauder force.
Yeah, concussive shells catching some of these units too. Medevac's keeping a lot of this
there
alive. Immortal's getting focused down. Nice pick up micro out of hero to keep it alive. Saves it from that last volley of Marauder shots.
Killing the Observer might just be worth, but a little too late now as it's with the army. And INnoVation starts his climb up to 3rd base and Liberators.
INnoVation's actually going to pick up, and I don't know if the Observer got to catch the tail end of that or not. Looks like it did. The army's moving northwards to try and intercept it. Bottom side does have 4 depths. This time they do have Resonating Glaives, but without +1 upgrades, it's not going to get much done. And oh, this Widow Mine and turret combo might just catch... Ooh.
There's a missile strike to the north too, so at least it's going to take some damage.
Yeah, this won't be a freebie. The Liberator also going to be able to chase this off. It looks like hero's going to get more than a freebie. He's going to lose the Warp Prism. That's going to really suck. Drops in the main go off. Widow Mine's going to try and burrow. Not sure if they're going to be in range to hit much initially, but I think the Marauders are not exactly too scared of these adepts. So yeah, Widow Mine's get some shots off there. Focuses on the Cybercore, pushes northwards while this goes on. The army was drawn back, and nothing left to defend this Nexus. Might just get sniped off. The entire army's coming back. The Cybercore goes down. No more adepts, no more stalkers to warp in. And this is falling apart for hero pretty quick.
Yeah, he only has 4 stalkers, so just continued medevac drops will be a pain that he just cannot deal with. The adepts are cleaned up in INnoVation side of the map too after only killing 5 SCVs.
Now the
this is all
Immortals...
Marauders, so going up against Immortals.
Yeah, not what you want to do. Widow Mine barely misses the splash damage on the Sentry. Front side of the base, Zealots get warped in because, well, frankly, that's all hero can do right now. No charge makes him kind of useless. Adepts are going to help push this back, but he comes back in from the north side and he wants to finish that Nexus. It's 4 Marauders after all. That's a lot of damage. Picks up, goes to the main. He's got Blink, but so few Stalkers to use it. Widow Mine's positioned in that mineral line, and this is getting kind of bad. No focus fire in that Nexus. I think that would have died if there was. That being said, he depowers 4 of the gateways, and there's, just chaos in hero's base.
Yeah, and he's still going to be able to get away with these medevacs. Maybe one will be sniped. Yeah, he's actually focus firing the one.
But Cybercore again, by the way. So continually just more Zealots.
Medevac's not good. Okay, the last stalker. Way to go,
2 sniper cores down within a minute is not a good sign for any Protoss player struggling to defend. And if this was a game that didn't have him have invested in Blink early on and rely so much on these stalkers, maybe this wouldn't be so bad. But without charging these zealots, they're not doing it. The Immortals are starting to clean up the Marauders, but INnoVation's finally coming across the map with round 2. He's bulked up a lot, but most importantly are these Liberators, which, and again, I stress, have nothing that can shoot up.
Yeah. Semix was only halfway done. The Liberators themselves would probably do it. Otherwise, herO, 30, 40 army supply down, maybe he can hold, but not if the Liberators are here. Definitely not.
herO's income over the last 10 minutes was actually looking fantastic. The problem is now he's pretty much out of bank. He's got a decent amount to warp in, maybe 4 or 5 stalkers, but that won't cut it. He completely zones out the armies. He finally pushes northwards. Big warping of stalkers comes in. That's all of his money, but it's not going to work. The probes get Widowmined. It's all over. herO falling apart, down to 29 army supply. The Widowmines reburrow once again, and they're going to go up on the Immortals, on the Adepts. The Marauders might have gone down, but the Liberators and a small amount of Marines are still pushing forward.
I'm a 10, baby.
Zombie Grub's a 10 out of 10 on the hot scale. We all know this, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for reminding us. 21 workers dead. Widowmine from the backside that herO had forgotten about. This still isn't over, but it's basically over. GG! INnoVation went super frickin' Saiyan right there at the end. Thank you to, apparently, the real Donald Trump. Definitely a real person. $10 donation says, magnificent job, INnoVation. You're doing huge work for our country. That attack was a real beauty. Not sure what to make of that. But thank you nonetheless. Small commercial break, guys. Game 2, herO versus INnoVation, when we return. Okay, we're back, folks. Sorry, that took me a couple extra seconds. I got cold hand problem going on right now. It's like -3 in my room. It's freezing cold. So I need one of those heating hand things. I don't know if you've seen those, the little balls that just plug into USB and they just create low levels of heat. If anyone's gonna get me a Christmas gift, one of those would be awesome. But we are getting into game number 2 here in the finals for the winner's side of the bracket. Reminder, of course, there is a loser's bracket for all of these guys to keep trying to play in. But in the bottom right side of Echo, we've got the red Protoss herO.
And the top left is the blue Terran. He is INnoVation.
And I know it's not the first time this joke's been made, but shout out to a wild blue card in chat. It says WinnoVation. Kind of, yeah. He's actually he's on a pretty slick streak today, all things considered. I'm actually wondering, he didn't drop a map, right?
No. 2-0. 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0 versus Dark, 2-0 versus Zest, maybe 2-0 versus herO. I mean, it's like bowling the perfect game. It's always cool to beat people, but if you can beat them all 2-0, damn. No,
I'm getting a lot of Skype problems, so I'm gonna recall.
Okay, are you gonna host?
Sure.
Okay. 1 second here, guys. So we try and get this back. Boink. Hello. Hopefully this is better for you. Yes, no?
Well, you cut off at the no, but I assume you said yes, no.
I said yes, no. Also, somehow you hosting the call has lowered your volume by 50%. Amazing. Alright, that should adjust, and that should be better. Anyways, herO. I feel so bad for him that game. I don't feel like he made a lot of actual mistakes. He just left one opening that INnoVation exploited into a huge hole.
Well, he did make that mothership core mistake for sure.
Well, okay, the mothership core was a big loss in the early game, but what I'm talking about is he had blink stalkers. He should have been able to keep the medevacs out. There should never have been that first snipe of the cyber core in the first place. That drop should never have really touched down. And I think for me, that's the question of scouting, right? If there was better observer coverage or more pylons scattered, would he have seen that coming, or would he have let that happen?
I don't know, but it's been a while since we've seen drop-heavy Terran actually killed like that, so it was impressive stuff.
He almost got the
dives, but Probe almost died too, and that would have been important. Oh, he does die.
He does get it.
Look at that.
I just called the Probe a Widowmine. That was fantastic.
I
know. This sucks, though, because this is herO getting shut down in the early game again. It's not the same as losing a mothership core, but it's the same thing as losing the pylon aggression anyways. That was the result of losing the mothership core. So, in a much less costly way, it's still the same effect as game 1. INnoVation just immediately salvages the bunker knowing he doesn't need it.
That felt like a very fast robo. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's like already done. Yeah. I guess it just was the timing of the militia core as well. And he's finally getting probes to that natural base, which is also something that looks a little weird. And the gateways are finishing up, but it's going to be, I'd say, a fairly fast war prism. You're going to get 4 adepts in there, and that's really the key thing, but not much else.
INnoVation coming down with some Widow Mines, locked and loaded. Last time these really didn't get a lot done, but they did cause a bit of stress. This time around, the Observer's already out. Yeah, and he's waiting for this too in the natural. So this should not accomplish much.
No, I mean, yeah, it's not worth going in there. Again, like, it's not going to do a lot of damage, but saving the medevac is kind of the #1 priority, and there's any chance that's not going to happen, then don't go for it. These can be placed around the map and be annoying anyway. I would say the most unfortunate thing is that INnoVation did not get a scout, so he has no idea the robo's already done. I mean, this could have been a Twilight Council, this could have been a Stargate follow-up. You know, you don't know, and so the War Prism already coming through here, something that INnoVation's going to be a little out of place for, and might take a bit of damage. Almost lost that medevac, would have been a lot worse.
Double overcharge is scary,
I thought it was
but
going to be harassment, but it's actually just going to be a frontal stalker attack without
the bunker's
blink.
not done.
Yeah, he had salvaged the other one or canceled the other one.
If your opponent doesn't have stim, you don't necessarily need blink if you got that War Prism. Do some pickup, drop micro, kind of like what we see here doing. Stalker's brought to the back line, kept barely alive. He does get the bunker finished though.
He's not repairing though. Like, and he didn't even have any SCVs to do that in the first place.
Oh, but the Widow Mines actually broke behind this.
Oh.
Gets a non-existent shot off.
Whoa.
herO
Like
just herO stepped it up a lot for game 2, but is this enough though? It's still like 8 SCVs dead is nice, but that barely scratches the surface of INnoVation. Plus, he has mules.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he kind of missed the timing to like snowball, which would have been like an extreme move anyways, to actually snowball with a regular 3-hit attack. But yeah, like in a perfect world, it might have could have happened. Yeah, ASCVs is kind of the same as if like he hadn't looked in the depths and like just caught the mineral line by surprise.
He tried so desperately to salvage that bunker too. That was really harsh.
I've seen quite a few SCVs now, like up to almost 20. That's good.
We're not quite in game territory yet. We've seen weird games where players like INnoVation have stayed on 7 workers and almost made it happen. So I think 25 is more than comfortable, but this is not a great situation. There's no doubting that.
Yeah, of course, for herO, he still has to make up for what is a very lame army come Stin and medevacs. Like, his army does not stand up to what INnoVation will get with upgrades, but it's about that time, you know? Like, the 3rd base finishes, the pylons are down, the Dark Shrine buys, a couple of minutes, and then it's perfectly fine. Then he's perfectly okay with a much better army.
I gotta say, this is gonna be really cool if INnoVation can get some counter damage done. Looks like some more adepts got into the main thanks to this Warp Prism. Does sneak on out of there.
Pretty close to dying, though.
But, so that's the thing too, like if INnoVation, if he didn't lose that first medevac, then he's got 2 and can go across the map immediately for the counter. He had to actually wait for another one to build. Now he can start considering moving out. And by the time he gets there, herO's either got a couple more pylons put down or the Immortals out. The point is he's going to have something to defend with. Whereas early on, he'd invested so much in those Stalkers, there wouldn't have been that much.
It is just kind of like, this is probably INnoVation's most perfect timing. It's right before the gateways are finished, and Blink and +1 will be done, but Dark Templars will be, and I don't think he actually has enough scans. He has to use one back at home, so he knows there's ETs here. These SCVs aren't even mining anymore. He really is all in.
Oh, man. It's a little bit awkward. The DT not getting any kills. Combat Shields turns out to be pretty good. Time Warp goes down, but it's not going to go up in time. Can we get that changed, Blizzard? Maybe to make it useful a little bit? Wardle gets picked off. Scans to the DT finally. The army's still standing out of INnoVation, though. It's killing all the probes. It's bringing this game back to where if he doesn't kill his opponent, he can play on even footing.
I wonder if that would have been better off going off the Stalker. It's actually super questionable. I feel like the splash helped herO a little bit. But, they're both kind of down to not great mining. INnoVation down to 1 base, herO down to 2. Barely that many more workers.
There's always a little more faith, I think, in the Terran, though, when it comes to low econ situations. You can float your command centers around, you can drop those mules. DT in the main's being a real pain in the butt. He can scan in about 2 seconds. He's got to clean this up so he can focus on the front. There's a big attack coming at the front. Oh, picking off that Marauder is huge, actually, to kick this off.
I don't know if this is actually a good enough army. It would have +1 and Blink, but I think the SCVs being pulled might be able to just do it. If the War Prism died, I think that herO actually does not push through here, but
Oh,
maybe
I
with
like the
War
Zealot
Prism-
Warp in. It's going to tank
Yeah,
enough of the
Zealot Warp
damage.
in.
Marauders will kill the Stalkers, but the Zealot's doing some pretty nice damage against swipes on the Marauders. Down to 5 workers left. INnoVation's got a good army. He concaves. He breaks herO's assault, but he's left with 5 workers.
Yeah, yeah. I really think without the Zealot Warp in, like, the Stalkers go down way quicker, maybe not as many SCVs die. But it is now 3 Nexus versus not even 1 base mining.
Oh.
Finally, the War Prism goes on. If that had gone down, like, the second attack, that is, like, so much of a relief.
So-
He didn't do nearly as much damage. There's no reinforcements for that attack.
This Widowmine's been chilling here this whole time. Just got a nice pop off on the Mothership course, and it's very low and perhaps easily picked off. DT, though, picks off another Marauder. INnoVation can't afford to lose units. He can afford to take damage, but he can't afford to lose units. He can't build anything else.
Yeah. Oh, and that Widowman's gonna get picked off. That would have been so nice getting the shot off on the Zealots.
Yeah, that would have helped out a ton. New Warpins coming into play. This is INnoVation's
Zealots
last
are
chance to make
too.
this game work. Medevacs are out of juice. He's getting picked off, and I think herO has saved this game.
I think so. GG.
GG.
Nicely done.
All right, so INnoVation's not going to make this tournament flawless. He will give us, though, the gift of a game number 3. Now, we'll see if this lobby goes up quick. I'd love to not play a commercial break here. I'd love to just get into it, but if they're going to be a few moments, maybe someone needs a break. We'll find out here in just a sec. Oh, though, I don't know how you guys do it. Like, I need gloves for observing. Or heating in my room. One or the
I
other.
say most people just have heating in their room.
Most people haven't lived in a garage their whole life, though.
That's true. Most people. I think more than you would think, though. I've heard of a lot of people having like
I
the
used-
last sibling basically get the garage.
So I used to have a little space heater. I know I was the firstborn, but I've been treated like the last sibling in my life. I used to have a little space heater that was great, but it shorted out last winter, and I've just not gone out to buy a new one since. So I don't have. It was always nice because what I would do is I would just stick it under the blanket. The heating would just like stick around. It was really nice. It was awesome. I missed that little thing. It actually was what I used when I was a security guard out there in -10 weather. That was always good times. But okay, it looks like we have everyone in the lobby for Overgrowth as the 3rd and final map in this best of 3 for the winners match. I guess reminder, I had misspoke earlier. There's no best of 5 today. They're all best of 3s because it is double elimination. Behind this, though, you've got Zest and Keen playing, and the other side of that is Dark and Hush. Winner of that goes on to the losers bracket, and we get closer and closer to seeing what the grand finals of this tournament's going to look like.
Cool stuff.
So the recap for this, of course, reminding everybody that 1,400 US online for the first place in this tournament, 400 for second, and then 200 for both third and fourth. So these guys are going to get some pretty nice money at the end of the day, but only the top 4. Only the top 4. And that being said, we are in game number 3 between these two players, and they're both pretty much guaranteed top 4 spots at this point. So none of them, neither INnoVation nor herO is going to walk away today without any money, so that's nice. But I think 200 versus 1,400, we all know how much we'd rather win. In the bottom left side, holding on to his life there in game 2. He brings it to map 3. It's herO.
And the top right is the red Terran. He's INnoVation.
What I love about watching INnoVation, I could gush about his macro, his micro, whatever, but I'm just so surprised. Oops, sorry, I dropped my phone. He keeps a calm head in a lot of these situations. I don't know about like other pros out there, but there's so many times in StarCraft 2 where the simplest thing will make me panic. So I know it's gonna be lesser and less consistent for pros, but through all the DTs, through the blank stalkers, to losing both of his bunkers back to back, like we never really saw INnoVation panic.
No, I already been tilted by the
Right?
DTs out of that game.
No.
So
Before the DTs, if I just finished a bunker and I've got to salvage it right away and it dies at like the last second of salvage, I'm like, yeah, well that was a great game. I'm out of here. Bye. Like off to the forum, gonna balance wine a little bit and maybe find David Kim's home number and threaten him. Like that's about where that game leaves me. But instead, yeah, he weathers through that. He weathers through the DTs and he takes it to a, let's be honest, a fairly close finish. It wasn't exactly a photo finish, but that was a lot closer than I thought it would be.
there's a couple of things that like could have gone slightly different. I mean, the Widowmine could have gone off on that War Prism with that like drop off of units. no reinforcements for the follow-up attack. Maybe INnoVation brings it back because of mules. He actually does repair the bunker in the first place and doesn't take as much damage to the SCV line. Like, there's like a couple of different things, and he would have had enough of an economy to have just 1 or 2 more Marauders to maybe push herO back. But herO did get all of that done. He did something that was pretty damn old school and surprising, which is like a 3-gate base gateway attack. Like, if you see multiple gateways as the way to go, it's usually got a Twilight Council along with it, if not also a Robo with a Warp Prism, right? Like the Resident Enclaves attacks or the Blink Stalker aggression. To have like the basic come forward, INnoVation wasn't expecting that timing. He was already playing like somewhat more defensive than he needed to be in like a regular game without like even bothering to build a bunker. But of course it was just a little bit too late.
Oh, SCV gets killed building the command center. That's going to be annoying. That could be a possible cancel depending on how much this aggression goes down. Real quick, before this gets too out of hand, Time Shifter 8 wants to know how we're splitting up our bits. Same way we do ad revenue. Time Grub and I just split 50-50. So, if you guys got bits, if you got the, I guess, willingness to watch commercials, yeah, that's how we pay ourselves.
You got beef with how we split up our bits, and that's your problem. I couldn't think of the B word, damn it.
You know the difference is between roast beef and pea soup, Zombie Grub?
Nope.
You can roast beef, but you can't pea soup.
Oh, no.
Alright, there's the cancel, forces it out.
Oh, dear lord.
That is no exaggeration, by the way. This is actually quite a horrendous start. The Dep's going to try and focus fire down the... Oh, I thought he was going to focus fire down the SCVs. There we go. That's what I was trying to shoot away at them. The nice thing is he will keep this depot alive, and of course the reactor as well. Should this have been opposite spawns, by the way, INnoVation would have lost his reactor too, and that would have really, really hurt. But kind of like game number 1, barely keeping it alive, it's going to keep him alive.
Reaper doing some serious work too. It might get 4 probes. There we go.
I just realized I was referencing game 1 between Zest. I forgot. herO game 1 went terrible. All these Protoss start bleeding together.
Right? Well, INnoVation takes a huge blowback by having to cancel a so close to finish command center. Like, that would have been another wind-up on the Adepts attack, and then the SV probably finishes that command center. Like, the Adepts attack's so slow. But now he's have to deal with it, and that means his follow-up aggression, his barracks production won't be as quick or as powerful. He could still have like a decent mid-game aggression, and just it won't be that same like clutch timing of like herO barely being ready for it. I think and herO is mixing things up too by going for a Stargate.
Quick shout out to that Twitch Prime sub through Arcanum1337. Thank you kindly. Widowmine kills the Oracle. Did not see that coming, and neither did herO. Another Widowmine's going to come out. This one has Revelation on it, though, so it's at best going to get a hit, but the Marines are going to protect it. Oh, boy. INnoVation may not have had a sweet start, but he's got a really nice follow-up, and he defended that attack. Not exactly, like, amazing micro skills, but he kept everything alive, and that's what matters. The tank comes out. Actually, we haven't seen these guys in action yet, but the tanks are actually really freaking good for those who don't know.
So INnoVation did win some of his other games in the Lei Feng group with some pretty sick tank pushes. Now, again, he's a little bit delayed because the command center was delayed, his production's a little bit delayed. I don't know if he'll be hitting the same 7 minutes he seems to be hitting around the last 2 times he saw a tank push, on Overgrowth specifically. But you can definitely see why tanks would be decent on here. I mean, it's, you know, very linear map. You go from point B to point C, you know, natural to third base of herO. And you have a lot of ledges that you can put the tanks up against, and the Protoss player just kind of has to work around, which usually means walking their army around, which is a lot of time spent, and even that doesn't guarantee that they're going to win. So the Phoenixes might actually be the savior here if they can get some good lift-ups, but they also might not even be that useful if the Marines target them down quick enough. Yeah.
Big thank you for whoever that cheer was from. Deckham, thank you very much. Also, we missed it, but Das Tier hit us up with a 10-month resub not too long ago, so saving esports one Zergling at a time. Kappa. Twitch alerts has actually been pretty buggy these last 3 days in particular, so if we do miss anybody, my sincerest apologies. I've been doing my best to try and make up for it, but it's been on a bit of the fritz. Now, of course, INnoVation pushing with this force looks so sexy when paired up with the 2 Liberators that are about to follow up and pair with it, and I really like this. The tanks are going to do a great job, and I think if for no other reason than he's worried about stalkers, it's just so good for overgrowth. You push down towards the third, you kill this base, then you set up the siege tanks right here, and it's just like no contest to shoot into that natural. Of course, that's in the best case scenario. Maybe something goes bad for INnoVation, but it doesn't seem likely. With +1 upgrades finished, combat shield's done in about 9 seconds, and this fight ready to go down. Phoenix has come through the backside, but the Widow Mines get such good shots. Oh my god! hero's army supply disappeared. It was like a magic trick.
Even if the Widow Mines didn't get those beautiful shots, it might have still been questionable. INnoVation, like, I liked hero's idea to push forward into INnoVation because the tanks wouldn't be siege and maybe the Widow Mines would have been sniped. But if it doesn't work, then you're still pushing into a very heavy marine force that has stim, +1, and combat shields. And you really need this magic, like, duo of, like, everything going perfectly with Adept Phoenix to actually push this push away from you.
This is going so poorly for hero. The pylon goes off. No overcharges remain. Third base is going to die. The Phoenixes are so low they can't even wrap around the backside. The Widow Mines are waiting for him. He's going to pick off the tanks, but the Liberators remain untouched. The Phoenix died. So do the Adepts. Good game. INnoVation, you sexy, sexy guy. Well, he might not be making it flawlessly to those grand finals. He is going to still get to the grand finals. Now he's going to wait a little bit of time, and thanks, Billy Bob, for the 1 bit. That's literally a penny's worth of bits. Thank you very much. He's going to make it to those finals, and we're going to have to wait a little bit to see who his opponent is. But as we drop down to the south side of the bracket, you know, we're going to get to see a little bit more of herO. We're going to get to see some of Keen, but the question is whether Hush or Dark advance to fight against him. So do stick around, guys. It's 3 with possibly 4, I think, best of 3s remaining, depending on how many we actually cast here. So we're going to try and cast them all, obviously. Thanks for watching the Lei Feng Cup Grand Finals. We'll get the losers bracket to go through, and we'll see you guys in a little bit. Quit cheering 1 bit. I got to turn that notification off. That's too loud for 1 bit. We'll see you guys in a couple of minutes.